Hey everyone, Kevin Denney, Police Chief here in Grand Island. We're at episode 4 of the Business Beat. We're here at Baristas with Nate Frew. And Nate, tell me a little bit about Baristas, how it came to be, and what your passion is, because my passion here is the Americano.
Yes, sir. Well, Baristas has been at this location in Grand Island for probably about 15 years. The previous owners, Lanny and Jewel Fay, had owned it up until my wife and I purchased it from them in September of 21. You know, I was coming here enough as a customer, I figured, maybe I should just buy the place instead.
Right.
No, but my wife and I, we love coffee. Anytime we travel to cities, we enjoy going to coffee shops because we feel like that's how you get a feel for the community as a whole. And, we just wanted to create a space where, people gather over a good cup of coffee and have conversation and, do study. It's a nice thing to be able to create a space for people here in town.
Now, what's your background before the 15 years, you and your wife? How did you guys meet? And, what's the full background there?
Okay, yeah. We both graduated from Northwest High School here in town. I was in 2007 and my wife in 2009. Went to college and we got married in August of 2012. So it's coming up on, 12 years now? And
do you know the date in August?
Yeah, August 4th.
Okay,
yes, sir.
August 4th. That's good.
8/4/12.
Okay. I always get my feet held to the fire, and we're in July.
Okay.
So July 15th.
But yeah, we got married and then we were finishing school, first couple years of our marriage, and we saved up some money and we purchased an inflatable games rental business that we ran for 6 years. And that was a lot of nights, weekends, holidays, big events. So it was a lot of fun and it was a good time, but it would have been difficult with the family. So
right.
we sold that actually right before 2020. So it was kind of perfect timing for us. And we just kept our nose down and liked this place and knew the owners a little bit. So we approached them and they were interested in their next phase in life. And so it just kind of came about just by asking them the question and being familiar faces with coming here quite a bit.
What's been some of the challenges or things that you thought you would deal with, and some things that you didn't even anticipate dealing with?
Yeah. Well, I think what we knew we were going to deal with was, especially, during just coming out of COVID, was, getting the product and getting it on time. And we figured there would be a little bit of struggle there, but the craziest struggle was it was something different each month. It wasn't like we can expect, okay, cups are going to be tough to come by this time of year, but it was just, just a lot of interruptions and readjusting, finding new places and getting creative that way so that, you could still be open and still offer a good product.
So what have you learned about yourself as far as leadership and another business, owning another business? What have you learned about all that? What's been the biggest takeaways, I guess?
Yeah, I think a lot of times people view owning your business as, a kind of a cool thing, but really you're working twice as hard, you're working twice as long, you're looking at things so much differently than everybody else. But that's what you sign up for when you're running something, you're putting your name on it. And so just what we've learned about ourselves is, we really enjoy, leading the charge. We really enjoy giving employees, customers, people an opportunity to find their passions, to grow in their own leadership. And, owning a business has been great to be able to do that. And owning a coffee shop, we've really enjoyed, we have such a great team here. We have 2 great managers and we have a lot of really great staff. So just giving people the opportunity to find their passions and use their strengths has been awesome.
So tell me about your team. You mentioned that. So tell me about the people that are working here. How did you know them, and how long has, I guess, most of them been working here?
Yeah. So it'll be 3 years. We've owned it in September, and a lot of time it's just word of mouth. Current employees, they tell their friends hey, I enjoy my job. We just hired a few people just in the last month, and it was started with one friend, and then 2 more came along. So it's just, we try to create an environment where people enjoy coming to work, and every job you're going to have difficulties. You're going to have things that maybe aren't the most fun. We have a drain under our triple sink that is not fun to clean, but it comes with
Right.
the territory. But we just feel good about creating a place that people want to come and work at. And
Mhm.
so a lot of times it's just people telling their friends, their family members, yeah, I work here or worked there. It was great. And so we have some younger people, like high school, we're just out of high school. We have some, more seasoned veterans
Right.
in life. We have some moms, just people moving back into town looking for a little consistency. So it kind of varies, and that's what makes it great too. Is
Mhm.
it's not just typecasted into one type of person that can work here.
Well, and so you've done so well here
Hmm.
that you're opening another location.
Yes, sir.
And can we divulge where that location is going to be and what the timeline looks like for that?
Yeah. Well, the developers already put a sign up, so
Uh-huh.
we're free to share for sure. So it's going to be in the Prairie District,
Uh-huh.
which is north of Husker Highway of Prairie Commons.
Mhm.
So there's a bunch of two big apartment complexes right now, and they're going to build kind of like a downtowny type of area.
Right.
And so we're going to have a freestanding shop there with a single drive-through and a great seating space with the mezzanine. And so our plan is early 2025
Okay.
is what we're shooting for.
All right. And so how far is that from, if you're driving down I-80,
Mm-hmm.
it's a couple miles, right?
Yeah, I think from I-80 to Highway 34, it's maybe like 5 or 6 miles.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just right off of the interstate. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's not right by the interstate, but Grand Island's growing that way, and we want to be
Yeah.
a part of, the growth and expansion of Grand Island, and it's
Mhm.
such a great opportunity to be a part of some really cool developments
Mhm.
and some people that really love Grand Island and are committed to Grand Island, and being able to partner with them it's really exciting. Pushes us out of our comfort zone, but those are the type of people we want to run with.
Right. I've always tried to live by the motto, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
That way, you're
sure.
growing. You're
Mhm.
making progress and stuff. But yeah, if you're going past Grand Island to Lincoln, from Lincoln, Omaha, whatever, if you get off at the 281 exit,
Mhm.
right, and you go north, you're only a few miles from the new location to
Yeah.
be.
Yep.
And then this one, what's the address here on Webb?
940 North Webb.
940 North Webb.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is your favorite drink to make here?
Well, to make, I mean, probably the
What's your
crack-
favorite drink to make, and
Yeah.
what's your favorite drink
Yeah.
to have here?
Yeah, well, I gotta say it depends on season, but right now, like the go-to is our cold brew,
Uh-huh.
and with some cold foam. But probably one of my favorite drinks to make is a breve, which is just kind of like a latte, but with steamed half and half instead.
Okay.
So it's
Has that always been your favorite?
I mean, drip coffee is just the classic. I mean,
Right.
that's where a lot of people land when they get into coffee, is the subtleties and smoothness of good drip coffee. So
Has owning a coffee shop soured you at all to actually drinking coffee, or have you maintained your desire throughout?
if anything, it's made it made it a little bit worse.
Right.
Drinking more.
Yeah.
No, but it's only amplified just the opportunity to not just drink coffee, but to explore different things that maybe I wouldn't do. Like when I was a customer here, I would just come through, get a medium roast or the flavored coffee. But now
Mhm.
we try different flavors out, different recipes, and really getting to learn more about the the science of it and trying
Right.
different drinks that way. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, this was one of the first places that I came to
Mhm.
have
Cool.
coffee, and I also have made several meetings here. So
Mhm.
I try to have meetings around coffee as well, and that away from the police station and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on the police topic, as far as that conversation goes, one of the things that we're doing is building back our policing. We're wanting to make sure that we're in better alignment with the community,
Yeah.
and we're listening to the community. You've been a longtime resident of Grand Island, grew up here in Grand Island with Northwest and all. So just from your perspective, I'm just curious, what can we do better as far as the policing side of things? What have you seen? And just some of your thoughts on that.
Okay. Well, honestly, I've had a lot of really great interactions with police officers in town. I spent time working over at Abundant Life, and there's a few instances we had to have an officer come over, some health things, some wandering people, and every time we've had really great response. And it's not just we know it's a stressful job, and we can tell, it's got to be something that wears on you, but it's hasn't been pushed off on the community in my experience. They're professional, they're efficient, they're thorough, and they act like they care. And I mean, what more can you ask for someone who's willing to serve in that capacity?
That's like what most employers want.
Yeah.
That's what we want, is
Yeah.
somebody who's coachable, who's approachable. I want somebody who is at the coffee shop standing in line, who somebody can just walk up to and talk to and ask for directions, or ask, where's the best coffee place in town, that kind of thing. Now, the other thing that's drawn me to Baristas is the scones, because I think you have the best ones around.
All right.
And so when I come here, if I'm hungry or whatever, I'm definitely stopping in for not only the Americano, but also the scones.
There you go.
And so tell me a little bit about the variety of things that you offer here.
Yeah.
So that when somebody's coming through from out of town, they've never been to Baristas, maybe never even been to Grand Island, what can you show them if they show up here?
Yeah, for sure. Well, food.
They probably won't see you with your feet kicked up or anything.
No, definitely not.
You'll be back, clearing out the drain or something like that.
Probably. No, I mean, one of the cool things about like all the different pastries we offer is, we have some ones we get from local bakeries here in town, some, more national ones, and then we also make some of our own in-house, and it's fun to do those types of pastries and allow our staff the opportunity to, get creative and make something that is going to be desirable for a customer that they want to purchase and bring, to their breakfast table or on their commute to work. So yeah, I mean, coffee and pastries, they go together. So you got to have a bunch of different options. So we have cinnamon rolls, cinnamon coffee cakes, scones.
Yeah.
We make muffins. We do brown butter Rice Krispie treats that we get from Redbird Bakery in Donphan. And we do some cookies as well. We have a former employee who makes biscotti for us still, and so those are available. And
How much would you say that you work, like on average, a week or a day?
well, define work, like behind the
So
bar.
how much are you thinking about work, doing something, balancing books,
Right.
ordering stuff, clearing the drain? How much time do you think you spend?
I mean, it can be as little as 2 hours. It can be as much as 20.
Yeah.
It depends on the projects that we have around here. Just a couple weeks ago, I power washed our pergola so it can get stained, and
It's like owning a house. There's always something to do.
there's always something to do.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough, you can find even more to do. So I really enjoy getting to work behind the bar and try and keep up with our team. They're pretty quick, and if I don't work for a couple weeks, it's hard to keep up with them. But no, I enjoy doing that. So probably 5 to 10 hours a week I get to do actual, baristaing and
What's your biggest thing that you've learned about leadership and about owning a business? Just a couple things about that.
yeah.
I'd like to know, just from your perspective, what you
For
learned.
sure. Well, I mean, you have to model it. And, as leaders, you set expectation, you set parameters, you set guidelines, you set goals. But, all of it's just talk unless you model it and you live it out. And, there's a saying that no one cares about your business as much as you. And, even if you have the best employees, which we have some pretty awesome ones, like, when you're the one that invested the money into it, you have to care unless you want to lose money or if you want to fail. And, we don't want to do that. So
Right.
leadership, it's really just modeling it and being willing to learn and grow and push yourself. At this point in my wife and I's life, like we have a pretty good idea of who we are, but if you get stuck in, this is just who I am, and stop growing and stop learning,
You got to walk the walk.
you're going to leave a wake of complacency behind you and mediocrity, and those just don't compute with my wife and I.
And we're here with Emily Frew. I'm sampling a little bit of the scones, which is my favorite food product to have here at Baristas, along with my Americano. So Emily, tell me a little bit about your story. You're married to Nate. And so did you agree to the business concept, or how did that work initially when you guys were thinking about it?
Sure. I mostly grew up in Grand Island, so did Nate, and we knew we wanted to make this our home and do something that would help build the community. We care about it.
Hmm.
And we really have been drawn to spaces, especially coffee shops. We didn't know kind of business wise what that would look like. But we've just always been coffee shop connoisseurs. So we had a business before this, and then when we sold that right before COVID, we're like, okay, we need to take some time. And then this opportunity came up with the previous owner. And it seemed like something we could not do. It
Hmm.
was such a good fit,
Hmm.
and it really has been since
Yeah.
then. So
Was there any hesitation on your part or worry, or what was your biggest worry
I think
as
there's a
far as jumping
healthy
in?
amount of worry.
Yeah.
It's a big decision,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
it's a big responsibility
It
because
is.
it's a financial commitment.
Hmm.
It's a relationship stressor probably
Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest challenges if you look back and when you first started here with the business, what was your biggest challenges that you remember?
Kind of logistical, but our first year we had 6 of our staff members pregnant at the same, kind of
6?
staggering, but at the same time within a year. That was a challenge. That's half our staff.
Hmm.
And just coming off of COVID, the labor shortage, we didn't have anybody apply for
Hmm.
like a year. That was really hard. I had my first child during that time. Um, Really, we're really blessed here. We have really loyal customers. And so building our staff has been the biggest challenge.
I was telling Nate that so when I came up here to interview for the police chief position, I stayed at a hotel just behind us here, and so Barista's was like the first coffee place that I went to when I came to Grand Island, and so that brings back memories for me, personal memories and all.
Yeah.
And then we've been talking about leadership concepts and things like that.
Hmm.
So tell me a little bit about the leadership side of things, not only running your own business, but like you mentioned, dealing with people, your team here, and how you recruit, how you lead.
So we're big into leadership development. People have always poured into us very well. And so we wanted to reflect that with our team. And we do a lot of stuff. We do like a local leadership summit that they have here at a church in town every year, and that's
Hmm.
very impactful to us. It's been very good. It's helped have a healthy
Yeah.
culture.
So as far as the leadership, I'll mention that one more time. As far as the leadership concepts and stuff, what is your personal leadership philosophy and when it comes to running a business?
Caring about people and loving people is the most important thing. I think if you're good to your team, they'll be good to you in general.
For the most part,
Yeah.
right? I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's what we try to do first, is to love our people and care for them and care about their lives outside of work, not just here. And I think like the recruiting and all of that, we don't really have to do anymore. It just sort of comes. People
Yep.
grab a friend or grab someone they know. This is a great place to work. And yeah, a lot of my philosophy, I guess, would come from that.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more because if you have a good business model, if you have good leadership, you don't have to worry about recruiting.
Yeah.
And you're right, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a good product, you don't ever have to spend a day recruiting because you do that every day in how you provide services and what
Yeah.
you do. So
Yeah.
you could be on the police department, you know. It's the same
Same
type
thing,
of
different-
philosophy.
yeah.
You know, being authentic, being real. And Nate and I were talking about it, and you know, people know that you're going to make mistakes occasionally, but it's about owning those mistakes and moving forward, being
Yeah.
authentic.
I had a boss who was always very vulnerable with us, and that really impacted me because I always thought, before that, all of my previous managers or bosses were, I'm in charge, this is how it is, blah, blah, blah. But he was always very open with us, and I really appreciated that. It, made me want to buy in more and care more about the business for his success too. And so I just thought if I was in charge, I would be that way. So
That's a great point as well.
sometimes you get burned, but it's part
Sometimes you
of
get
it.
burned, but if you're vulnerable, I agree, and you say, hey, I screwed up on that one, or we could have done things better. That vulnerability, I think, takes you a long way with most of the people, because
Yeah.
most of the people that you work with go, okay, that's the leader, and they're not worried about saying that they've made a mistake or saying that, okay, we could have done something better. Let's back up, let's reevaluate, let's collaborate together,
Yeah.
and let's make a better product. Let's do something different. And
Yeah.
I've done that, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 times since I've been here in Grand Island, where I've had to say to my team, to people in the police department, hey, I screwed up, or I made a mistake, or didn't consider this. Let's figure out a better mousetrap kind of thing. Let's figure out a better way to do it. So.
And we have a very good team, my husband and I and our 2 managers. We probably initially overstaffed with management because we wanted to all have a healthy work life. Saturdays are always part of it, and we want people to have a good balance. But we have such a good team, and I think that's the most important thing, because those 2, Ronald and Ashton, really reflect that type of leadership down to the team. And sometimes they're here longer and more than Nate and I, and so that's really important.
Yep. So what is your favorite thing about Baristas? If you're coming from out of town and somebody's never been here before, you've got a great location right here. For the most part, it's fairly quiet.
Yeah.
It's by some services just off of 281 in Grand Island. I've had several meetings here that have been away from the police department and all. But if you're coming from out of town, what would you want somebody to know about Baristas? What would you want? What would you recommend somebody order? Depending on what kind of cold or hot,
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody coming from out of town?
Well, I hope that when they would come, they would feel cared for by their baristas, first of all. The name was not the name I chose, Baristas, but I think it's very telling of our culture now. And I hope that when they walk in, they get a smile, they feel cared for, and get some recommendations for what to drink. Kind of our thing is you can get anything and everything here. We have the most options in town, and so
you got your
I would say
Baristas
Bible,
back there?
Yeah, with all our recipes. Yep. Yeah. But our managers do a great job of picking out our seasonal menu. It's always good, and it's always our biggest sellers for those couple weeks. So I personally love pastries. So the scone.
The scone's my favorite.
It's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Cinnamon rolls are great, but they go fast.
I noticed you don't have any donuts.
No, we don't. No.
You stick with the products that are
Yeah, we've
traditional
added
coffee.
a few things in the last few years, like cookies. We have Rice Krispies from Redbird Bakery in
Right.
Doniphan that are amazing. They're like a whole lunch. But yeah, we try to stick to pastries for now.
What's your favorite drink?
I'm a plain Jane. I like black coffee or an
Yeah.
Americano with cream.
There you go.
So
That's what I like too.
yeah, I'm kind of boring in that sense. But I will say I don't usually venture out, but I'm always testing and trying things here, and I like everything. So I'm become more adventurous through this.
So as far as the business goes, you're opening a second business. What are the biggest challenges over the next 12 months for you guys? Is it going to be getting a second business going?
Yes, I
that's-
think
that's
that
a
will
big
be.
thing.
We'll be doubling our staff, basically.
Oh, wow.
Hire another store manager here, and one of ours will move over to that location. And so I think staff will be the biggest challenge. I think we're pretty much ready otherwise.
Yeah. Do you expect that location to do as much business or more than this one, or?
Well, I hope eventually the same or more, but I don't know. I think it's going to take a couple years for that area to develop. So I think we'll do okay until then. So
Well, I'll be retiring in a few years probably, so
You wanna
maybe I
come
could,
by.
depending on what your benefit policy is
Yeah.
like and stuff. Maybe I'll start pulling some Americanos and
it's
stuff.
a fun job. It is. It's a lot of people's fun job.
This is a super fun place to work.
Mm-hmm.
We do like to get down to business, but we pride ourselves in having the staff that we do and the culture that we do. It's really
Right.
important to us.
I love to be on my feet, and this is a place where it's just fast paced and having to make quick decisions. So I'm like, yes. And I love being under pressure sometimes. So
Yeah.
I love my customers, honestly. We have a lot of regulars, and each of them I respond a different way just based on like their personalities.
Because our goal is to average 90 seconds per car.
Wow.
Yes. When you pull up to the window, we do the whole transaction there. So you order your drink, we shut the window and shout it out. 90 seconds from that moment.
Okay.
There's some times where we get really busy and I'm like tired, but seeing them like charges my battery
Right.
up again. When I open that window, I like just get excited to just like even just smile at them, even just take their order. If it's a quick encounter or it's a long conversation, just opening windows and seeing customers smack their part.
Everything is so personalized. Like the options are endless. We can make you literally almost anything.
What's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink is a Snickers white mocha.
Snickers white mocha.
In any form, hot, iced, or blended.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ashton. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And I hope that when people come in, they'll recognize you and say hi.
I hope so.